Well, we're just mining gold. That's what we do here. Well, I'm Tom Smith. Moved up on this property when I was 2 years old. That was in 1962. We started mining, well, my dad actually started mining right after he moved up here. There's pictures of him right across the creek here with a little pump in the creek and a sluice box and
Just getting after it.
shoveling pay dirt into the sluice box,
Yeah.
right where the old timers had left off.
Yeah.
And they actually left quite a bit of gold. They first came in here in I think about 1852, and of course there was.
Boy, that was during the big gold rush too.
That was during the big gold rush. Yep. And from what I know, it was basically the overflow miners from California. They showed up for that gold rush too late.
Yeah.
And everything was gone.
Right.
And they just moved on to different territory.
Right. Easier probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more south you go, the easier it gets.
Well, yeah.
Especially then.
And they found gold in Jacksonville, I think, in 1850.
Mm-hmm.
And they just come north.
Flooded over and
Yep.
Yep.
Chased out the Indians and
Yeah.
took their land.
Sure
and talking about that, I found a nice little scraper the other day, right down at the fuel tank.
Really?
Yeah, a nice little obsidian one. Well,
Nice.
it's kind of a big one.
Nice.
I was putting fuel in the truck, and because I got that barrel I stand on to turn the valve on and off with. So I watch where I'm standing on it. I fell off of it once and skinned up my shin bone, and looked down to step off the barrel, and it was just shining right there in the sun.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Stepped over it 100,000 times probably, but yeah. Anyway, back to the property. We originally, my dad was going to make a cattle ranch out of this. He built the barn, and that shed down there was the equipment shed, and this field was cleared.
Right.
But the upper pasture ones weren't cleared, and he cleared them out and put barbed wire fence around all the fields. And
Well, raising cattle wouldn't have been a bad idea either, boy.
It was a good idea,
Yeah.
and we did it here until about 1979, I believe, the year I graduated from high school.
Gotcha.
They closed the range. It was all open range up until that point in time.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't just let them.
And now they got the range closed, and we just got, I don't know, there might be 15 acres of fenced-in pasture here at the time,
Right.
which wasn't near enough
It's not
to.
enough, yeah.
We had 40 head of mama cows at one
that's
time.
not
I mean, it was a full-time,
Yeah, it's not enough. Yeah.
you know, and there was just barely enough hay fields here to cut enough hay to feed the cows in the wintertime.
Right.
Just pretty much just fill the barn, the upper loft, with hay, and that was enough hay to keep everything going. And when the cows went away, then the mines up the creek become available right in the same time frame, because Joe Salisbury, Belva's granddad, you met Belva,
Yeah.
owned them, and he formed a partnership with 3 other mine guys.
Yeah.
One of them was Hap Fitzpatrick, which was a known miner from. He did a lot of mining down in the Wolf Creek area.
Okay.
Anyway, they formed this corporation, and they built this giant, big monstrosity of a wash plant, but it really all it was an elevator. It was just like a giant big suction dredge that had a grizzly on it that they just pushed the dirt or the pay dirt up into the grizzly
And sucked it through.
and then everything that fell through it went up through this elevator and then down the sluice box.
Huh.
Which they couldn't get the yardage.
Yeah.
And then they came along with that trauma that's up there. I don't know if you got pictures of the...
I have,
Yeah. Anyway, that's when that trauma showed up. And they set it up where it worked relatively well, but they were old men at the time.
Yeah. Right.
Older than, you know.
Yeah.
And they offered it to my dad. And my dad and Carl Giles. Carl Giles was logging at the time. And he had a big he had like 3 sides going in. And I was actually working for Carl at the time. Did I show you my pictures in Logger's World?
No, you haven't shown me them. You told me about them.
Well, I got them in there anyway. And my dad and Carl worked on resetting the wash plant up, getting rid of all the unnecessary monkey motions that these guys had involved in it. And one day at work, Carl comes up to me and he goes, "I need you to go to work for your dad." I said, "Are you firing me?" He goes, "Well," he says, "you can look at it one or two ways. Either a promotion or a demotion."
Yeah, it's one of the two.
And I said, "Okay, then I guess we'll try to figure something out then." And, of course, I didn't have to get up at 3:30 in the morning and drive at least out to the highway from here to catch the crummy. Sometimes I had to go to Days Creek or even Canyonville at times to catch the crummy. And I was living in the cabin up there at the time. I'd already moved out of the house. But, yeah, no, all I had to do is be up in the morning and walk out the front door, and my dad picked me up right there, and we'd go up and work.
Right.
And you know, there was times when I really didn't want to work for my dad.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't.
I think all boys go through that.
You know, I didn't. I mean, you know, there was girls to chase and beer to drink.
Beer to drink. Yeah.
But anyway, we plugged on through it. We worked 6 days a week usually. Yeah. And it was pretty much from daylight till dark because that wash plant wasn't running.
You're not making money.
Nobody was making money. Yeah. And I was actually getting paid pretty good. 2 ounces a month. I mean, which was pretty comparable to what I was making in the woods.
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never, you know, I always got paid.
Yeah.
Always got paid. But there was some times when the hours worked were a lot longer than...
Hey, anytime you own your own business like that, Tom, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, because, you know, we'd wash gravel all day and mechanic half the night at times. You know, welding something back together and or tearing a cat apart and rebuilding the engines in them and transmissions and...
Yeah, I don't know if people know that. Gold mine is mostly repairing equipment.
Mostly keeping your equipment running, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, them guys on the TV show, they've kind of figured that one out.
Yeah, they have.
I've watched them do that a time or two.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so you guys have been gold mining up here for
50 years. Well,
almost 70.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. And, you know, there's still gold in the creek.
Still gold in the creek. I can contest to that.
Yes,
There is.
there And when we get the weather's calmed down a little bit, we're going to go finish our assessment work up.
Ed Shefflin's old place.
Yep, up in the ancient river.